The soft plastic paddle tail swim bait is without doubt the easiest and most effective swim bait on the market. It's relatively inexpensive, it's simple to use, you can rig it a bunch of different ways, and the bass love them. And companies know this, because if you go to any tackle store, every main manufacturer has some version of a paddle tail swim bait. So with hundreds of options on the market, how do you choose between them? Today, we're gonna break down our top 5 favorite paddle tail swim baits. We're gonna show you how to rig them. We're gonna discuss the differences between the baits and what they look like underwater so that you can become a more informed angler and catch more fish. So if you're ready, let's go. Welcome to the Hookup Tackle. The Hookup Tackle is the world's largest showcase of Megabass products, featuring baits and colors not found at any other dealer. The Hookup also offers a wide display of OSP, Evergreen, Depths, Lucky Craft, Jackall, and many more. The Hookup Tackle is owned and operated by family, is staffed by guides and verified tackle nerds who love helping anglers elevate their craft. If you're in the Phoenix area, we'd love to have you stop by our showroom and check out the wonderful world of Megabass and the Hookup for yourself. If you shop online, there are almost 10,000 SKUs of Megabass products alone, with hundreds of other companies and new products being added daily. So next time you're looking for that hard to find bait, that color your fish have never seen before, or maybe you just want to elevate your game, look at thehookuptackle.com. Welcome back, everyone. I am Ben Kohler with the Hookup Tackle, aka the Tackle Otaku on Instagram, being filmed by my buddy Jeff, Jeffrey the King on Instagram. All right, so today we are breaking down soft plastic paddle tail swim baits. Do you consider this a swim bait, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, you said swim bait, so it's a swim bait.
It's a swim bait. I forgot what I was gonna say. Jeff screwed me up. I thought he was gonna argue with me. I'm just gonna start over.
Yeah, dude, go for it.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Ben Kohler with the Hookup Tackle, aka the Tackle Otaku on Instagram, being filmed by my buddy Jeff, Jeffrey the King on Instagram. Okay, so today we are breaking down the soft plastic paddle tail swim bait. Everybody has these in your arsenal, right? And what's cool about these is that it's just the easiest way to get into swim bait fishing. It's simple, you can rig them weedless, you can rig them on a jig head, you can put them on an A-rig, you can put them on an underspin, you can do so many different things with them. And we're gonna talk about some of our favorite rigging solutions today. Anytime the fish are eating shad, bluegill, any kind of bait fish, herring, it doesn't really matter, right? The soft plastic paddle tail swim bait is just a great solution. They're simple, you can really just cast and wind, and as long as you're making the right angle and choosing the right rigging, they're gonna catch you fish. So we're gonna break down our favorite baits. We're gonna go through our top 5, and we're gonna start with probably the baits that all of you have in your arsenal. We're combining this into one. This is the Keitech and the Reaction Innovation Skinny Dipper, and it's the Keitech Fat Swing Impact. Now, this is where the majority of anglers start and stop with their soft plastic paddle tail swim baits. And if you're finding yourself in this boat, that's fine. These two baits can do almost everything you need to do, and these are definitely the industry standards. The Reaction Innovation Skinny Dipper was really kind of the first one on the market here in the US to take storm. And it's an interesting bait. It's one that we all throw a lot of, just so you guys can understand what this bait was designed to do. It has a ribbed back, has a pretty normal belly with a hook slot, but if you notice, there's not a lot of tail movement to it. It's very tight, it's right at the back end, and this bait was actually designed to burn. It's designed to swim as fast as you can retrieve it right under the surface and purely draw reaction strikes from the fish. And this is where we see a lot of anglers go south. You can't just grab a bag of skinny dippers or little dippers and do everything that every other soft plastic paddle tail can do. This guy, if you want to maximize it, is built for speed. It's built to throw and swim back in very quickly. This is a pretty traditional rigging that we would do with this thing, a 5/0, kind of twist lock owner hook, and you can fish it over weeds, you can fish it open water. Most of the time, we are putting some form of red trailer hook on this, and we talk about these trailer hooks a lot, so let's just dig in really quick. Why red? Why a trailer hook? What we find is when a bait moves very quickly, you almost need to give the fish a target. The thing is moving so fast that it's not sure what it's really aiming at. And a lot of times, just simply by adding that little red trailer hook, it gives them something to aim at and they attack it. And almost never do we catch them on this hook. But if you don't use the hook, a lot of times you get these short strikes, you put this hook on and they eat the whole thing and you just catch more fish. It's kind of the same theory as adding like a feathered treble to a big swim bait. The thing's so big, they don't know what to eat. So you add a feather, you add something to the bait to give them a target and they go for it. So if you guys want to cover water very quickly, the skinny dipper is a great option. It's a great option for fishing when, you know, it's topwater season, for instance, and maybe there's just a little too much ripple on the water and you can't really fish your topwater effectively. You can throw a skinny dipper, burn it under the surface, and it's just a great way to get bites. Keitech is usually the next place. Is it Keitech or KTEC, Jeff?
It's KTEC.
Okay. We're going to say Keitech because that's probably how most of you guys know it, but it is pronounced KTEC, as Jeff gives me a big huff. So this is usually the next place that people go. And the reason for that is they're available in a gazillion colors, they're relatively inexpensive, and they're nice and soft, and it's ribbed for the bass's pleasure. Now, if you're ever worried or wondering what a bait is going to do, you can basically tell the action by how limp it is, can't you, Jeff?
Yeah.
So
like
if you notice, everywhere it's bending is where this thing is going to bend under the water. So this bait is going to have a much wider tail kick under the water than that skinny dipper. It's going to have a much bigger action and it's going to work better at slower speeds. So if you need a bait that you can fish slowly and methodically in different depths, the Fat Swing Impact is a great one. It basically comes in every size you can imagine, from a 2/8 to a 7/8. So if you want to go huge, you want to go tiny, give them what they want, and it's available, like I said, in a gazillion colors. You can match any forage. We're basically going to rig this thing the same way: weedless, jig head, A-rig. It's just a very versatile swim bait that I know all of you guys are using. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but that is the Keitech or KTEC Fat Swing Impact. All right, number 2 on our list is really my favorite soft plastic paddle tail swim bait, and that is the Megabass Spark Shad. Now the Spark Shad comes in 3 different sizes. It comes in a 5-inch, a 4-inch, and a little tiny 3-inch dude. What's great about the Spark Shad is the Spark Shad has just a totally different action than the 2 swim baits that we've talked about so far. You'll notice that it's got a very unique shape. It's got almost a triangular shaped bottom, and then it has these stabilizer fins here. And then again, if you want to see the action, you'll notice it's majority body with just a little bit of tail kick. So what you're going to get out of the Spark Shad is you're going to get basically a 2-in-1 action. You're going to get a little, very small head shake while that tail is back there moving. This is a tighter action than the Keitech, so this is a great option when the bait isn't super aggressive as the water cools. You know, more winter time, early spring, late fall, when the fish aren't like just overly juiced and overly amped and just crushing everything that comes by. When they chill out a little bit and the bait gets a little bit tighter and it's moving a little bit tighter, that's when the Spark Shad really shines. It's got a tighter motion. And the other thing to point out about the Spark Shad that's really awesome is if you rig this thing correctly, you can get it to fall like a Senko. So a lot of paddle tail swim baits are designed to, when you kill it, it basically just swim nose down and tail kick, which is fine. But the Spark Shad, when you kill this thing, if it's rigged properly, it's going to continue its swim in a horizontal motion just like a Senko. So if you're really trying to pick an area apart, if you're fishing docks, if you're fishing laydowns, you're fishing a big bush, and you want to swim it by the bush and then get it to the tree and then just kill it, that thing will just flutter just like a Senko, and you catch tons of fish like that with this guy. Now, this is my preferred rigging of a Spark Shad. It's a 6/0 owner weighted beast hook. It fits it perfectly, and this will allow you to have that kind of slow quiver. This is my ideal rigging for really shallow water. So if I'm really just covering the bank, fishing targets, this is how I rig it. If I want it to stay down a little bit deeper, then I would opt in for a flashy swimmer. So this is an 8/0 owner flashy swimmer. And what this blade does is it of course gives it a little bit of flash, but really more than anything is it controls the depth. So with any of these swim baits, when we're talking about them, if you rig them weedless like this, no matter how deep you let that bait sink to the bottom, the second you start your retrieve and you start winding, it's going to come up towards the surface, and really they want to be worked in that top portion of the column. So if you want to keep your bait down there a little bit deeper but maintain the weedlessness of it, then by going to a flashy swimmer, this blade is going to require the bait to kind of catch enough water to stay down deep. So I think of these blades more as depth control instead of flash. Now just a real quick tip, if you aren't familiar with using this style of hook with these springs, I would recommend having the bait upside down when you start the rigging. And what that will do is that will allow you to twist it all the way on, and by the time it gets to the hook, it is in the perfect position and it's nice and snug. If you start it right side up, then you have to leave yourself a little bit of a gap, okay? And then that hook is just gonna simply go through. And all of these baits we're talking about will have little markers on the back, so when it pops out of the back, it goes right in the straight position, and that's it. And then simply the difference between these two is this guy is going to have that beautiful horizontal fall for shallow water, and this guy is going to give me the ability to keep it down a little bit deeper. Another great way to rig the Spark Shad is on the Megabass body balance head. Now these body balance heads have lead that extends into the bait, and what that's going to do is that's going to allow it to maintain that horizontal fall but much faster. So if you're fishing cliff walls, bluff walls, deeper water where fish are suspended and you need a bait to very naturally kind of quiver down through them, the Spark Shad on the body balance head is a great way of doing it. Just cast out, engage the reel, and just let it pendulum, and as it falls it's going to continue to swim very naturally. It's going to maintain its upright position, and they love it. Of course, the 3-inch is very popular on the Okashira screwhead. This has been a staple for many guys, especially smallmouth anglers, for years and years and years. So you guys are probably all familiar with this combo. If you guys fish smallmouth, this is definitely something you're going to want to add to the arsenal. But that is the Megabass Spark Shad. Definitely add those to your arsenal if you don't have them already. All right, number 3 on our list. Another one of my favorites. This is the OSP Doe Live Shad. Now again, these guys are available in a bunch of sizes. There's a 3.5 inch, a 4 inch, a 4.5 inch, even a big 6-inch guy. Now what's interesting about the Doe Live Shad is it kind of combines the best of the Keitech, or KTEC, Jeff. Every time I say it, he shakes his head. It combines the best of the KTEC with the best of the Spark Shad, and it's kind of almost a hybrid style bait. So you're going to get that slow flutter and that nice body roll with that very finessey tail kick. So it's kind of a great all-around bait when they need something a little finessier. It's a little bit slimmer profile than both. It's a little bit wider body than both. So you're gonna get a little more of that body rock as this bait comes through the water. It's definitely one of my favorites on those like glass, calm, slick days when they're feeding on bait, they're feeding on shad, but they're not overly aggressive and you really need to go natural with your approach. This dude's awesome. So rigging wise, we rig it the same way as we've shown before with the weedless hook. I like to usually just do some kind of weighted so that I can maximize that kind of body roll on there. The Doe Live Shad also works amazingly well on the free rig. And because it has this wider body, it will fall very naturally on the free rig, and you can even peg your free rig weight if you want to use like the bladed decoy and create even a different kind of body rock movement with it. It's just very effective that way. The Doe Live Shad is also my go-to swim bait on a swim jig. And I know in a lot of parts of the country, swim jigs are very popular. This makes an amazing one because it's got nice thick plastic, so it locks and holds on the swim jig very good. You can skip this thing, you can put it through cover and not worry about it just tearing and ripping like some of these other ones. And it just has that nice little small movement there, so it's just very finessey, very natural. It's a great one to add to the arsenal. That's from OSP, the Doe Live Shad. All right, number 4 on our list is the Jackall Rhythm Wave. Now, the Rhythm Wave is an awesome swim bait that not a lot of guys use. Now, I think everybody knows about the Jackall Rhythm Wave because Jackall USA brings them over here. They should be in the majority of tackle shops, but it's one of those still like hush-hush swim baits that not a lot of guys give a chance because it looks very similar to the Keitech. Now, what I like about the Rhythm Wave is similar to the OSP, it's got a very wide body. So this thing is going to have a really good amount of body rock to it while it still has a very soft tail. So you get a lot of tail motion with a really nice body movement. And I find that the Rhythm Wave makes an excellent alternative to the Keitech. When that bite starts going off on an A-rig, on a swim jig, or just by itself, if you need to show the fish something different because they're seeing Keitech after Keitech after Keitech, the Rhythm Wave is the perfect solution for that because you're going to be able to maintain that same, lots of tail kick, but then you just get that different action. So again, I love it rigged weedless. This is the 4.8 size, which is the size I throw up, but it comes in a 2.8, a 3.8, a 4.8, a 5.8, so you can do all kinds of stuff with this thing. But you can rig it weedless like this, and it looks beautiful in the water. The Rhythm Wave is also one of the staples in Japan as a swim jig trailer. And because it has that wider body, it just adds a small touch of action to your swim jig. And you'll notice the swim jig just gets a little bit of a quiver because it's kind of forcing it through the water. So if you're looking for just a great all-around option to your Keitechs, you've been throwing them for years, your fish have seen them for years, you need something just slightly different, the Rhythm Wave is amazing, so definitely check it out. All right, and number 5 on our list of our favorite paddle tail swim baits is from Duo. This is the Boostar Wake. Now, this is a relatively new addition to the paddle tail swim bait market. It's available in a 3.5 inch and a 5 inch size. What's awesome about the Boostar Wake for me is, I think of it as a skinny dipper alternative. Now, you can do a lot of things with the Boostar Wake, but the Boostar is one of the few baits that you can truly burn and it will function absolutely perfect. It doesn't roll, it's nice and tight, and what the Boostar has going for it, it has a little bit wider body, and you'll notice it's ribbed, but then it also has this kind of rear segment. If you look at it, it's almost like its own little body segment. So as that tail moves, it's just affecting that back end. So the front side and this thicker part is going to track true and give you a little bit of body shake, while that back end is free to rotate and kick, and it just gives that beautiful 2-in-1 motion that sometimes you need to trigger a fish when they've seen a gazillion skinny dippers. So again, I look at this as an alternative. If they're just chomping everything, I usually still start with my Reaction Innovation skinny dipper, but as that bite progresses and they've seen more and more and more of them, then the Boostar is usually my go-to replacement for that when I still want it to go very fast in the water because it can still track beautifully and the fish chomp it. So definitely give this guy a look. It's available in a ton of colors, so you can pretty much match everything. That's the Boostar Wake from Duo. All right, guys, thank you for joining me on our top 5 favorite paddle tail swim baits. I hope it was informative. I hope you enjoyed seeing these things in the tank. As always, if you have any questions, please drop me a question down below in the comments section. We appreciate your business. We appreciate your support. As always, thank you for watching. On behalf of myself and Jeffrey, arigatou gozaimasu. Peace.